Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us on another terrific Tuesday's edition of Talk Today as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. Expectation is always in anticipation of informing, engaging, and enlightening. We want to hopefully entertain as we educate. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And in the studio, as always, the excellent company of Nurse Delta Gale. This time has been the custom in recent times with the Rotary Central. Nurse Delta, how are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon, Sterling. Good afternoon, Cayman.
You know, it's great that we see not just professionals in their own way, especially the medical professionals, and through their volunteerism, in particular their service clubs, bringing together like minds, shared hands, in ensuring that the community benefits from a collective effort. I've always enjoyed these conversations, and then perhaps two things first, maybe through you, unless you wish to delegate. Go around the table and introduce everybody. You've assembled the audience, and I'd like you to start with your colleague first, if you would, but I'll leave it to you.
Thank you very much, Sterling. This afternoon, we have Miss Simone Sheehan. She is a registered nutritionist at the HSA, and I must say that she's a senior registered nutritionist at HSA, meaning experience-wise. We also have registered dietitian Mia Zerita, and she's also at the HSA. And we also have in our midst Francis Gomez, who is a volunteer of the Cayman Islands Breastfeeding Support Group. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks all, because I think many of us over the years, Ms. Simone, especially through you and your team over at HSA, we've had a focus on Breastfeeding Week, as it were, and importance and themes like back to breast is best, and the like, to get us to do what, for some of us, it was our parents and grandparents would be doing relative to the health and well-being of not just the child, but the mom as well, and the entire community. And so I appreciate Ms. Gomez and Ms. Bia for joining us so that we understand the logistics of what it is to be a person, or a mother breastfeeding. I don't think fathers can do that, but that's just my thought. But also the nutritional importance of it and the impact from the physiological as well as perhaps the psychological. So maybe before...
Well, fathers can actually do a lot, surprisingly.
Except breastfeed.
Except that bit, but everything else they can do. So
it's the hair part in the chest.
It's over 90% of the work in some ways, because there's a lot of activities that can be done around supporting mom from dad. And I think what's exciting, which I think we'll probably touch on again later on, is obviously the new, not just maternity extended leave, but the paternity extended leave, which really gives the dad the opportunity to, because there may be other small ones running around at home, or maybe baby number one, but the whole theme this year is support for all, and that comes from all areas of the community, including Rotary. because they do a lot, and they've recently purchased a pump for maternity ward, and they organise these types of events and raise social awareness about these issues, which are so important. So I think that's major effort from the community in general.
The community commitment actually can contribute significantly. And maybe at some point, as we speak to that surrounding cast and the dad who can help that partner, and obviously the importance from even meal preparation. But I know Nurse Elta, I think she has, jet to catch. No, just kidding. I know you have to get back to your work, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes and facilitating so that we can have this discussion. But before you go, anything you want to share with us? I mean, Rotary has been instrumental in many of the health sort of fairs and the health and wellness of our community. Tell us about it. I mean, what is Rotary, for instance?
Well, this is a big question. Many people have different knowledge or interpretation of what is Rotary. Well, Rotary is simply an international non-profit membership organization made up of people who share a passion for and a commitment to enhancing communities and improving lives across the world. And it's not just Cayman that has Rotary Club. Rotary Clubs exist almost everywhere in the world. And our memberships, we work locally, and we also go in partnership with internationally, and we also accomplish feats and tasks by working together, and we do form international friendships through that.
Yeah. We've seen Rotary Central and through you in particular come on and we talk about some of your other events, the health fair, the health screening and the like. But Rotary and breastfeeding support, breastfeeding awareness, why?
Yes, Rotary is almost in everything as long as it benefits the community. And one might be wondering what Rotary has to do. Why Rotary Central? What are we doing with breastfeeding? That belongs to the medical personnel. Well, Rotary has 7 areas of focus. And I'm going to mention them, not in specific order: peace building and conflict prevention, disease prevention and treatment, and that's what the health screenings fall under, water sanitation and hygiene, basic education and literacy, community economic development, the environment, last but not least, maternal and child health, which is what breastfeeding falls under. So Rotary Central recently donated a couple $1,000 worth of breastfeeding items, one being what has been rated as one of the world's best breast pump for mothers who are having problem breastfeeding. Sometimes there are inverted nipples, there are flat nipples, sore nipples. We gave donated accessories that will facilitate breastfeeding. And one of the persons who was present during this presentation was HSA neonatologist and pediatrician, Dr. Beaumont. And he says that breastfeeding, the breast milk, is almost like medicine to those babies because of what it carries. He was overjoyed by this donation because he says breast milk is just one of the medicines that is so good, so highly rated, and it's exceptional for the babies, especially for the premature babies.
Well, I commend not just the donation, but those 7 areas and the idea of maternal health. Thank you to the Rotarians, many of whom are professionals who right from physicians and other medical staff. So thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for helping us to reach out to this team. And in your absence, we'll do the discussion justice.
Thank you, Sterling.
All right. When we come back, Ms. Mio, could we restart after the break with you to talk about the nutritional components? I mean, Nurse Zelta just said breast milk, according to the neonatologist, it's like medicine. That's good medicine. maybe we can talk about it if you want. And Ms. Gomez, if it's okay with you, as you're comfortable, as you wish to share, those of us who are partners and our spouses or like our breastfeeding, we see the challenges. Nurse Delta referenced some of the things, but share with you as much as you can encourage and give us. Would that be fine to ask of you when we come back?
Yes, of course.
All right, well, please rejoin us, because the health and well-being of our society extends beyond the economic and the environment. It stands to the family to be healthy. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up on heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
The Council of Older Persons is proud to present the first Aging in the Cayman Islands Forum. The forum will be held on Saturday, the 3rd of August at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI and is free to the public and open to all ages. Registration will open at 8:30 a.m. Presenters and topics aim to truly reflect the needs of Caymanians and residents, so we can all age with dignity. For more information, visit www.gov.ky/Older Persons Council.
Radio Cayman News.
Police and Customs and Border Control are seeking information regarding the whereabouts of two.
Faces 1 count of importation of a controlled drug, namely fentanyl.
This bill aims to rectify these shortcomings.
A decision will be made on the implementation of the uplift in the minimum wage.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us as we talk about, not just breastfeeding and the Breastfeeding Awareness Week, but the breastfeeding support growth from the HSA, both Miss Simone and Miss Mia. As dietitians and nutritionists, we understand the importance of health, as we've been told. You either make food your medicine, or medicine becomes your food. So your overall health and wellness is crucial. If Nurse Delta doesn't mind, in her absence, just repeat something she's heard, said that maybe for the first time I heard it. She quotes a physician at HSA. The breast milk is almost like medicine, or is medicine. have heard over the years, and to you and your colleagues at HSA, how important breast milk is for that child's health and well-being. But could you help us, Ms. Mia, to put that in perspective? I mean, it's medicine. Wow.
Of course. So when we're breastfeeding our children, it kind of creates these antibodies that are transferred from like mom to baby. And also it's important for the moms as well, and helps like with the uterine contractions and everything like that, which is so important, especially in those first few days and like weeks after childbirth. And I know that Simone is very much more well versed in all of the very numerous benefits as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, breast milk is species specific. So, it's human milk for a human baby. It has the exact ideal composition of nutrition that a baby needs. Breast milk composition changes over time depending on as the baby grows. And it's a supply and demand situation. So the more you breastfeed the baby, the more supply you're going to have. Ideally, we want exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And exclusive breastfeeding is not giving anything else but breast milk, right?
Exactly.
And I think, Ms. Mia, what I was sort of trying to also consider is that with the breast milk being sort of species specific, but this mom breastfeeding her child and the food that mom takes, does that influence? And are there things that we can do in preparing for the mom or for the mom to eat that helps the child?
Oh, especially in terms of supply as well. So there are some foods that can be more helpful in a more abundant milk supply, specifically things like oats, brewer's yeast, making sure that we're really hydrated, eating enough protein, things like that can really help with producing enough, because no one wants a hungry baby. Definitely not.
And then, Mr. Moore, from that perspective, the, species specific, we've heard that perhaps maybe goat's milk is more closer related or better than, say, cow's milk, for instance. But I'm not going to offend people and say, no, don't drink that, but I'll do that to you. But for that mom who is nursing her child, if she needs to nurse another mom's child, could that...
I mean, it's definitely a practice that exists. I haven't seen it in Cayman, really, because we don't have a milk bank, for example. But I've definitely heard of it before, and I know it's popular in the US, I believe. Places like California, I believe, have quite high rates of wet nursing, or, and they do have, across the US, milk banks where some mums donate their extra breast milk for babies who, for whatever reason, they're not able to get it from their own mums.
Right.
Yeah.
If I might know, Ms. Francis Gomez, as a volunteer for the breastfeeding support group, what is it? Well, welcome. Share with us as you wish, and we want to hear from you, your experience as you wish to share, as comfortable as you want to.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm here as a mom. Out of us here, I'm not a health professional. I am a volunteer for the Cayman Islands Breastfeeding Support Group. And I'd like to say a little bit about the support group just to, so everybody can get to know us. We are a group of moms and healthcare professionals and lactation consultants, and we are very passionate about promoting, supporting, and encouraging breastfeeding. And we've actually been around since the 80s. And it has evolved over the years, but right now we offer different services, all of which are free of charge in Grand Cayman. And we offer educational sessions on breastfeeding that are delivered through the HSA Parent Craft classes. We also collaborate to provide packets for moms that have given birth at Georgetown Hospital to have information on breastfeeding, and also includes all of our details for all of the volunteers that they can call depending on what district the mom is in. There are weekly visits to the maternity ward, and where we can help provide support for moms that are breastfeeding. And as well as we also provide support to teenage moms via the family support unit. So having said that, and having support for all be the main focus of World Breastfeeding Week. I think as a mom, having successfully breastfed my 2 daughters, I feel like support is the most important thing. When we're pregnant and when we've just given birth, we research so much. We research, the strollers and all the things that we want for our kids. And then we have instructions for all those things, and we can take classes and everything, but we really don't, until you hold that baby, I like to say our breasts don't come with instructions. We don't really, we have to rely on professionals such as yourselves, our partners, and also, being when you just give birth and you're in a very vulnerable state where you sometimes the things that you do know, you second guess yourself. So that support being provided before birth, while you are in the hospital, and then within your personal support group at home, whether it's your partner or a family member, is, I think, key in making sure that that moms are successful in breastfeeding.
And that's the key support. We're watching the Olympics now, and the cheering fans of that specific athlete or team, but just those in attendance, that support. We do have a caller join us, and I want to maybe ask more after the call about the support that the group provides, for the individual moms as well. But could we take this call? And hey, welcome in the studio. We have from HSA, we have Miss Mia Zurida, we have Simone Sheehan, and one of the, breastfeeding support groups, volunteers, and can I say nursing mom publicly or prior?
You can say that.
I can say that. I'll say it loudly. Miss Gomez. Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies, and good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
And to you, sir. How are you?
Fine. A quick question for the ladies and a question for the nutritionist after. I known, we're talking about breastfeeding, I known of a case or some cases, not in Cayman, but other places where I visit a lot and spend a lot of time there and react and counteract with the folks there. It's a lady, she had a baby. It was only 2.5 pounds. Unbelievable. The doctors there told her if the child made it 2 days, they would have hopes. But anyhow, she wasn't able to breastfeed the child. And I said to her, I said, in my time when I was growing up in Cayman, I was in the 50s now. I don't know if you was all around then, but the mothers used to feed the children, even when they were breastfeeding, with cornmeal porridge or ripe banana porridge, and that strengthens the child very much. Sometimes the mothers that could breastfeed would breastfeed sometimes and then feed them with the porridge. Very, 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 very watery that, it wouldn't be any problem for the baby to swallow. Do you all have anything against that or whatever? But the child right now is 4 years old, and if you see that child, wow, solid and very, very healthy. But that was a question I'd like if you all have anything against the porridge to give the babies if the mother can breastfeed them, or even if they can, to also add sometime the porridge in to the feeding. And a quick question for the nutritionist, if she can answer that. I have a product that is called Vinia, Vinia. It's made from red grape powder, some capsules. Can diabetics take that medication or not? Because it's advertised a lot. It's called Vinia.
Well,
I leave that question with you guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, as Nurse Delta shared, someone, you're the senior, I think was the word she referenced, right? Anybody else heard of that? And she didn't mean that in age, I don't think. She said instead. Thank you for the call, sir. Only if you wish it. And if you think
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can all say something to these particular questions. Thank you for your call. And I'm very happy to hear that little child is doing so well and flourishing, age 4 and strong and solid. That's really great news. Obviously, I can't speak to a specific situation for a specific child, and I don't have all the information around that child. But in a general sense, newborn babies up to 6 months don't generally require any complementary feeding. Usually, especially if it's breastfeeding, all their needs will be met for the first 6 months. So it isn't our common practice or recommendation to recommend eating any kind of thin porridge or any kind of additions to the baby's diet. Exclusive breastfeeding is the way we really want to go when we're talking about breastfeeding, which is literally just the breastfeeding for the 6 months, initially for the first 6 months. Now, there are occasions when a baby requires earlier introduction of complementary feeds, and that is something I personally had that same experience with my own son when he was an infant. So I know there are definitely exceptions. I also know that it's a common practice, right, Mia, to kind of, the trend is to add rice and so on when possible. And that isn't necessarily what we would be recommending, to be honest.
Okay.
No, I would agree with that completely. And again, I'm so glad to hear that that baby is now 4 years old and doing so well. That's fantastic. And also, adding those different things, we also have different products in order to like supplement and like fortify any expressed breast milk as well now, which would be probably the route that would probably be going down is instead of the cornmeal and the banana porridge and things like that. But of course, that's on a case-to-case basis.
Well, when we come back, I'm told we got this scheduled break, and perhaps through Ms. Francis, the idea of not just the support, but from the caller's perspective, I wonder, given what Ms. Simone shared, how much challenge is it for the mom in the household to ensure that the mom can, exclusively breastfeed, and what do we need to do as a supporting cast to take care of her health and well-being in all aspects? Maybe we can talk a bit about that and encourage others to, hang on, don't give up. You too can do this.
Of course. Yeah.
All right.
That would be great.
Let's pause, and when we come back, we invite you to be a part of our discussion.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by The Light Room. Tired of being unwell and struggling to find the energy and vitality to live the life you desire? Come get recharged from the inside out at The Light Room. Our non-invasive, holistic energy enhancement system detoxifies and energizes the body, enabling self-healing and balance. Book online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL, 38 Pasadora Place, GT.
Thinking about what to do on this hot summer day for little or no cost to you? Head over to the new Shoreline iMap to find the closest public shoreline access point. Then grab your sunscreen and head to the shore. Use the new Shoreline iMap today at gov.ky/shoreline. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And in the studio, as we talk about breastfeeding week, breastfeeding support group from the HSA, Mr. Simone Sheehan and Ms. Mia Zarita, together with Ms. Frances Gomez, one of the volunteers for the breastfeeding support group. I'm hoping that the wider community listening will recognize that this discussion should be not just as public as it is, but more frequent in supporting and encouraging our mums, if I might say, in the importance of recognizing how it plays into the health of both mum and babe. Miss Francis, from that perspective, I can only look back in my observations and experience, but even this, extended imagination, that must be challenging. I mean, the child is going to be asking for something at unscheduled days and times, right? You can predict and program, right? What is it like? Talk to us.
So, as I was mentioning earlier, we, when we prepare, when we're about to give birth, and I took a breastfeeding class when I was pregnant, and I did all this research and watched videos. But when the time came, it was it wasn't as easy as, it's a very natural thing to breastfeed, but it doesn't necessarily come easy. Maybe that's because we aren't exposed to it as much as we should be. But I think that for me, when I was a first-time mom, one of the most important things was having someone, specifically a nurse that was with me, support my decision that I wanted to breastfeed. So I just wanted to speak about something that happened, which was when my firstborn, she was maybe, hours old. The next day, the pediatrician comes in and they weigh the baby and all of that. And they focus a lot on the baby needs to gain this much weight and they can't lose this much weight. And there's a lot of what the mom feels like pressure to make sure that, oh my goodness, this baby, something's going to happen, and you're already overly protective of this child. You don't want it to cry. You don't want it to, it looks a little bit sad as it cry. So I, in that moment, when the pediatrician came and my daughter was losing weight, I was told I had to the next day to continue to try to breastfeed. And I was a little bit discouraged because I felt that the baby was latching. She was latching, but she obviously wasn't getting enough for some reason. And I said to the nurse, I was very sad and disappointed. And I said, I really, really want to do this. Like, I really want to breastfeed. And she said, don't worry, we got this. So, I pumped. And, sometimes you think you have this idea that you're going to fill up a bottle, on your first day. And it was a sliver of a tiny, 10 mils of breast milk. And, the nurse would feed the baby with like a little spoon, or sometimes they would do like a little dropper. And she, every certain amount of time, every 2 hours, she would come, I would pump, she would help, she would feed the baby. And, my baby was able to gain the weight that she needed to gain. And because of that nurse, and because she supported me during that time. And I didn't have to give my daughter formula at the time. There's nothing wrong with formula. But it was, for me, that was the moment that I thought to myself as well, oh, I can do this. So, after that, we only focus as well on those initial days, but it's an ongoing process. So, once you get home, sometimes you have all these nurses, and then you're on your own, with your husband or whoever's supporting you during that time, and you might not be able to get the same results, and that's where we, as the breastfeeding support group, can also come in. So once the mom is at home, she can WhatsApp us, she can call us, and we do home visits, phone visits, and we try to be there during those times where we don't feel as confident, or whether we're not sure if something is we're doing it right. It's something as simple as is my child eating enough? We can't, when we have a bottle, we can see, this much milk my daughter's been having, or my son. And with breast milk, it's you can't really see that. So sometimes you have that insecurity that you don't know whether your child has had enough. Yeah, has had enough. And sometimes when we hear our baby cry, we always think it's they're hungry. That's the first thing we think. But there's so many cries. As a mom, it's like, it could be they're hungry, it could be they're cold, it could be they just want you to hug them. So I wanted to come on here and not make it as though I'm this lucky. These are words that I always get. I breastfed my two kids. You're lucky, and that you were able to do it. And I think that all moms can breastfeed, and we just have to, as a community, get behind them, make sure that we are championing moms, empowering moms, that they can do it. And I think we underestimate the power that we have as a community to make sure that moms are supported.
Of all the wonderful things that you shared, my immediate and perhaps takeaways are that support that we have from that nurse, from the partners, and then secondly, the environment that we can create as a result. As mothers who breastfeed, you not only have empathy, you have a point of relevance, and as you speak to other moms, hey, it's hard, it's challenging, it's relatable. And I'm glad that we have a support group, and I'm hoping that more people will not only be aware of it, but access. Because that experience of one mom, it probably isn't the first time that a mom has had that experience, but she may be feeling insecurities here. She may feel a lot of undue pressure. And whether you're the first time or the second, it probably is not something to be overlooked. So thank you. If I might, and in closing, Ms. Mia, and perhaps through your team, maybe we'll come on more and talk about the benefits of good nutrition from the early formative years, as you're going to be an expectant mom, and even the dad, through the birth of the child, through perhaps injury and recovery. But nutrition, I think, informs our health, and what we put into our bodies probably impact us in many ways. With respect to the limited time we have left, what are maybe that one or two things that you want to make sure that we take away?
Sometimes also through the breast milk, you can actually get different, exposure to different tastes as well. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you are pumping, that when you're having certain foods, the color might change a little bit, or it might smell a little bit differently that day, or just depending on what you're having. So, and it's another way to expose the baby to different tastes as you go on as well. So kind of setting them up for having some exposure to those tastes as well. So it's not exactly nutritionally per se, but kind of exposing them to those different flavors to theoretically improve their palate later on.
So what I'm hearing is, if the mom eats a lot of chocolate, the child gets chocolate milk. Thank you. No, I said no, but it is true. I mean, maybe the coffee, the tea, or that wonderful, curry lentils, for instance, the child will benefit from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is definitely some evidence there when you're talking about weaning babies onto complementary foods or solids, that if they've been exposed from, and they're exposed to like simplified but varied choices, it makes them less likely to become picky eaters.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they become picky eaters anyway, no matter what you do. But there is some evidence there that the more varied they have they have when you introduce complementary foods. But something else I think we didn't touch on today as well is the cost savings of breastfeeding. With the cost of living being through the roof in the world, but in Cayman especially, and formula especially if your baby requires any kind of specialised formula, you could be paying $60 plus. There's one formula that goes for nearly $90 a tin. The average formulas are going somewhere between $17 and $25 a tin. So, you go through quite a lot of formula when a baby is small, and as the baby's growing, the intake increases. So it ends up being quite a costly, plus all the equipment you need for the formula, the bottles and the sterilizers and all of that. So, not to mention the environmental impacts of bottles, water usage, cans to be disposed of, etc. So, and obviously babies who are formula fed, they go through more diapers than babies who are not babies who are breastfed, because babies who are breastfed, because the babies absorb almost all of the breast milk. So the number of diapers is significantly lower. So there are many environmentally friendly aspects to breastfeeding, but very much economic benefits to breastfeeding.
Child is original clean eating, right?
Yeah, basically. So you just eat like you would in your last trimester of your pregnancy, as Mia was alluding to, plenty of fluids, rest as best you can, which I know is a little bit of a tricky one. And the milk comes, and it can be not only tremendous benefits for the baby, but also for mom and the pocketbook.
Well,
and the family budget.
The cost is there, but I can see the convenience. I mean, this is the original takeaway. Take along. Well,
shop's always open.
Is it now? But thank you all very much. And I know with the breastfeeding support group and the event coming up in November, we'll have an opportunity to speak with more of you, perhaps with the other colleagues. If you're included, please feel free to come along, because we want to encourage the health and well-being of both the mother and the child. Ms. Gomez.
Yes, so as you mentioned, we had very exciting news with our breastfeeding conference that we are hosting in November. And we are hosting it November 8th and 9th in the Compass Loft on Shedden Road, and we will be bringing Dr. Jack Newman from Canada, who will be joining us. And we have some amazing sponsors that have made it possible, and it will make it so it's free to anybody that's attending. And our participants will be expecting mothers, breastfeeding mothers, obstetricians, pediatricians, general practitioners, nurses, midwives, and also medical and nursing students. And you will be able to get continuing education hours for it as well. I'd like to take the chance to thank our platinum sponsors, which are Ocean Med, Integra Healthcare, and Optimal Health, along with other sponsors that are making it possible. We're very excited to be hosting that conference in November.
And we're honored that come closer to the date, we're going to have some of the panelists on our studio as we talk about that. So
that'd be great.
It's all in the works, man. It's about the health and well-being of our community. And I'm hoping, Ms. Mia, you'll return with your colleagues, because many of us, we don't understand nutrition like how we should. And some of us, for whatever reason, myself included, our brains will attune to regression analysis and looking at, the projections of discounted cash flows. But when it comes to our label and the food tin, we'll be like, I have no idea what that's just said. So you'll explain it to us. But have a great week. Thanks for joining us, right?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Moore.
much.
Appreciate it every year. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Well, join us after, because you've seen him many times perform. You've watched him do acrobatics. No, just kidding. We have Jamo in the studio. It's just Jamo. But join us if you want to hear what he has to say.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority. The Insurance Managers Association of Cayman says the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority has just released licensing statistics for the second quarter of 2024, which show that between April and June, CIMA issued 12 new international insurer licenses. IMAC represents the international insurance industry in the Cayman Islands and notes that CIMA issued 3 B1s, 1 B2, 6 B3s, plus a Class C and Class D reinsurer, as well as licensing 2 new insurance managers. The industry group says taking into account the 12 new licenses in the first quarter of 2024, a total of 24 new international insurance licenses have been issued so far in 2024, a 50% increase over the same period in 2023. In international headlines, security forces in Venezuela have fired tear gas and rubber bullets at people protesting Sunday's disputed election result. According to the BBC, the protests erupted in the Venezuelan capital the day after President Nicolas Maduro claimed victory. The opposition has disputed Mr. Maduro's declaration as fraudulent, saying that after reviewing 73.2% of the voting tallies, it was clear that its candidate, Emundo Gonzalez, had won convincingly. At least 93 people have been killed and dozens others are still feared trapped after heavy rains triggered massive landslides in the southern Indian state of Kerala. The landslides struck hilly areas in Wayanad district in the early hours today. Rescue operations are underway but are being hindered by heavy rains and the collapse of a crucial bridge. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings from Radio Cayman's Newsroom.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Health Services Authority will be hosting a town hall session at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, July 31st at the Bodden Town Health Center. Join the discussion on introducing additional services to meet the needs of the community and our future expansion plans for the Bodden Town Health Center. Remember, at HSA, we remain committed to caring for you. Visit hsa.ky for more details.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott enjoyed a fulfilling career at sea spanning more than 50 years. He was ahead of his time, employing his mathematical and computer skills to create payroll software, depth charts of Georgetown Harbor, and his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. He had 6 children and was married for 52 years to Bernadette Silva, whom he met during his tenure in Brazil. In 1954, when Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited, Captain Scott had the distinct honour shaking the Queen's hand and piloting the Royal Yacht Britannia and anchored it in the Georgetown Harbour. Captain Scott was a humble man who liked his khaki suit and cap and loved to share his knowledge with those who crossed his path. He was honoured at the National Heroes Day, acknowledging the seafaring heritage of these islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
On behalf of the Port Authority of the Cayman Islands, the Ministry of Ports will be hosting 2 public consultations to examine the options for the future expansion of the cargo port. This is your chance to share your views and shape our island's future. Join them tomorrow, Wednesday, July 31st at the Vault, that's at the Compass Center, and also on Thursday, August 1st at Church of God Chapel in Bodden Town. Both meetings will begin at 6:30 p.m. Can't make it? No worries. Participate through the online survey, which you can access on the ministry's government page, or you can tune in live on Facebook. Your voice matters. Be part of the conversation and help build a better future for our Cayman Islands. For more information, you can visit gov.ky/tourism transport or follow the Ministry of Tourism and Ports on Facebook and Instagram.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. And in the studio, from the Youth Services Unit, James Jamo Myers, and maybe through you, I should be guided, but Jordan is going to swim at 1:30, right?
Yeah, we could take a break.
Susan?
Obviously, we aren't going to all go offline for the race.
So I said to Miss Susan and I said to Jamo,
we got to watch him win this medal.
We got a break schedule at that time, so that break may have to be a little bit longer than necessary.
That's right.
So
well, he only need about 2 minutes.
Yeah. So we asked the country, chill, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Turn on your TVs. This is the first time when I give people permission to watch the TV.
Yeah.
So Susan, as you saw her scrambling the team, put it on the channel, and everybody joined faith and Jimmy as their support, Jordan. But Jamo, let me try to focus on our discussion now. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, we talk about beyond borders, Jordan included.
But he is beyond borders because from those early days, and I'm not, saying this to name drop. I'm saying this to recognize that as parents, as we invest individually, as the parents of that child, but collectively as a community, we see the importance and the impact, the benefit of that child. She goes overseas to university. She travels to Cameroon back for an expedition. She decides one day, you know what, maybe I want to relocate for a bit, as part of her secondment as her office later on. But so there's so much, and we need to continue. But maybe through you, we get to understand why we need to be champions. So, Jambo, thanks very much, man.
Yeah, well, with me today is one of our summer interns, Aliyah General. That's the pretty lady right here.
Hello.
All right.
Jambo, I think they would recognize that if she can mean.
No, everybody has looked kind of mom for him. But anyway, we're here to promote one of the activities that one of our summer interns is putting on. It's called Beyond the Islands, the reality of being an overseas student. Mm-hmm. We know that a lot of young people from the Cayman Islands go through this kind of culture shock when they go overseas for the very first time. It affects their grades. It affects their overall performance, just settling in. So we thought it was a great idea for our interns to share their experience. So those young persons who are going off for the first time this fall, they can be a little bit more prepared for that, for what they will encounter.
Yeah.
And hopefully it wouldn't see a dip in their grades or their GPA, and that they they won't be challenged too much to stay on the level for scholarships, because there's a certain recommended GPA. And I think this is one great way of tackling it and being proactive. And I want to thank Jesse for putting this together. It is something that we're doing in partnership with NDC, because NDC did a survey with first-time abroad students, and they'll be presenting their findings as well. So it is something that we all look forward to. It's happening on Saturday, the 10th of August, from 3 until 5 at the Intergenerational Hub, 131 McClendon Drive. It's right next door to DHL, right behind Foster's Airport.
Across from the airport post office. On your way to the airport, you turn left or right, depending on where you're coming from.
Yeah. Right behind Refuel, if you know, you go behind Refuel.
Just down from Reflections.
Yeah.
Across from the airport park. I mean, if you can't
find
get there.
ways to get there.
But I'm glad you shared that. So it's not this Saturday, but the Saturday following.
Right.
All right. And you say 2 to 5 p.m.
3 to 5 p.m.
3 to 5 p.m.
It's limited to 40 persons. So
40
we're
people?
making
People?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyone between the ages of 16 and 24 going off
Yep.
for the first time, about to go off maybe for even prep school or anything like that. It'll still have that same kind of culture shock. We'll have a panel of young people who've just recently been through it.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be sharing their experiences from different parts of the globe. And the contact information, you can just go on our website, youthservices.ky, and click on the link where our events pages are.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can email us at info.ysu@gov.ky, and we can send you the link so you don't have to.
So it's by registration only?
Yeah, we want to try to encourage people to register. That way we can know who we're catering for. We hope that by doing this, we max out for the young people who are interested.
And I like the fact that you said, at age 16, because some may be going off to their last 2 years, whatever that is, however that is, right?
Right.
But Ms. Lee, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you for having me.
Before I ask anything, just want to invite you to share as you wish initially.
So yeah, I've been working with the YSU this summer. I've had a really good time so far. And I think this dialogue is something that is very needed. I think it's something that our young people can use to give themselves a bit of a boost of confidence, and get some real valuable insight into what living overseas can look like, because it can be so different for people. And a lot of the times there is a certain pressure to have a college experience, quote unquote, that looks a certain way and feels a certain way. And oftentimes that just doesn't happen. That's just not how it works. So I think with the variety of panelists that we have set up for this meeting, I think it'll be incredibly valuable and incredibly eye-opening as well.
I commend you for this initiative, and maybe a number of things I want to ask. And that initially, many of us, either as the prospective student, but many times I believe, just my belief, the parents, the teachers, the surrounding and supporting adults think that the maturity as exhibited and demonstrated by that child, the way that child, I'm not going to say child, may have perhaps demonstrated, right? We believe that maturity will dictate that child will have this thing. But yet, when you're on your own, it's a different world.
100%.
I want to speak to that, because sometimes we don't understand. So with her consent, I reached out to a friend, and there's a significant age difference between child 1 and child 2. When child 1 went, we didn't have all the stuff we have today. Phone calls were like $1,000 a second, and you spoke maybe 1 second every year or something. Nowadays, you speak more frequently.
Right.
And she shared that with the first child, because that's what she was told, what she thought, there goes the child, any problems, let me know, if not, you're good. With the second child, more communication than I ever had before. You could do things to support, not to do for, but to do with. And that made a significant difference. So in that, I was thinking that today, we sometimes don't realize how it's not that the child isn't going to do well, but the child is in a space, excited, but alone.
Yeah.
Am I off?
No,
Okay.
that's 100%. It can be such a flurry of emotions. I remember I went away for my A-levels. I was in Hong Kong doing the UWC scholarship. And as excited as I was, I don't think it necessarily hit me how far away I was going and just how isolated from my family I would be until I got to the airport. It was just a wave of, oh my goodness, what am I doing? This is terrible. And obviously, as I acclimated, that kind of lessened a little bit. But even with all of the technological advances that we have now and had 4 years ago, it was still incredibly daunting. And that reflected in my grades and my extracurriculars. And it's not because I'm not capable. I've just graduated with my bachelor's. It's because I just wasn't in that headspace to really buckle in and try to get the work done when I was so focused on
all of these emotions that were everywhere. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we should probably talk about more. Yeah.
And the thing is, sometimes we don't appreciate that. Let's say it's June, the child graduates high school. Let's say age 18, all right? And now it's September, August, October, whenever it is the child now goes to, let's just say, university. The only thing that happens is an ensuing period of a couple of months.
Yep.
The child goes from being at home to now being in this space.
Mhm.
And many of us are excited, as is, if I be allowed to call the child. My mama called me, and, I'm not 50 anymore, but I'm still her child, right?
Yep.
We forget to understand how important it is to support. And I'm hoping that this would offend some people to the point where they'll change their mindset. Oh, you guys thought about being that helicopter parent. You need to be a loving, nurturing, encouraging, supporting parent who says, hey, I got confidence, you got this, but hey, guess what? Well, you need a little piece of cassava cake, let me box it up and send it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on island we have some of our older parents have this cultural mindset that, at the age of 16, you're grown, you should be able to do X, Y, and Z, and you should be able to handle this, and I don't need to be assisting you. But I think if you speak to children with parents like that, they're very cut off and they don't feel supported. And it's so incredibly important for you as a parent to understand that I am your child from birth till death.
Yeah.
Like there's no in between there where you can say, I'm done, you're good to go out the door. And I think if you do that, you are disadvantaging this, if that's the word I'm looking for, your child. Yeah. Especially when it comes to studying overseas. Yeah.
Thank you, if I may say, as a child, saying that to us as parents, because sometimes we, the adult, the parent, will probably hear from other parents, oh, you gotta give her a little more space. And then we read these stupid books, only to understand that, as you just shared, with the greatest of insight, maturity, and intelligence, and everything else, that as a child, you still want that support.
Yep.
You want to know that the parent has confidence in you.
Yep.
You have the independence, but you have that support. My father will call and say something, not that he can come and help to the extent that he used to, not that I expect it, not that I can't, not that I don't, but the fact that just checking on you. You good? You go home okay?
Yep.
And thank you for sharing that. If I might, if both, Miss Faith and Jimmy, don't mind, I exemplify them as parents, because here are two heavily involved and invested, like, thankfully, like you said, Mr. Alicia. Aaliyah, sorry.
It's okay. It happens. It's all good.
Miss Shana, I apologize. They've been so committed to their children in their lives. Yeah. And it's not because they're on the world stage. Their children could be sitting in the library right now reading a book, waiting for daddy to get off work, right? Or the mommy to come by.
Yep. And it's not that... I think back to how old I was when I went to Hong Kong. And the primary reason that I chose to go to Hong Kong is because I'd been at home for so long. So my thinking at 17 years old was, I want to go as far away as possible. Which, looking back at it, was not a good idea. But, obviously I was striving for that independence.
Yeah.
And I got it. It was a lot. But I still had my parents and my friends and my support system. Yeah. That's so important for kids to be able to branch out and take leaps of faith, but still have that safety net.
I'll leave it to you to share, right? And the reason why I'm asking
I
this...
think that was a great idea.
Yeah.
You see, when you can survive on the other side of the globe, as far as possible you can survive. Anywhere else, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. But what's important, right, is that you
stretch your limit from that. That's good.
That wherewithal, that confidence in you to do that.
Yeah.
And I believe partly because of what directly and otherwise your parents instill in you, right? I won't reference the family, but a friend, he says if there was a school and a university like on Mars or the moon, his daughter would have went there, right? And if you see her today, that poise, that grace, that elegance, but that independence, right? That confidence. And yes, as a parent, the child could be in the room just, 2 seconds away from your steps. And you're going to check. You're going to want to make sure. With all that being said, Ms. Susan, please let us know when that race comes up, so we can take that break and we go watch it, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, and anybody got a problem with that, call Susan. And she can refer to
Anybody got problems, I better watch it themselves.
Everybody, stop what you're doing when Jordan starts to swim, and just tell people, hold on, put that phone down, put that spoon down. We go watch this race, right? Who watched it this morning, 4:30?
Not me.
Anyway, I want to say that. But for the 10th, Saturday coming, a week.
Yes. From
Tell us
3
about it.
3
to
until
5.
5.
So just 2 hours.
Yeah. Panel discussion.
No cost to the individual.
It's free.
All right.
Just show up. All you gotta do is register before, so we know that you're coming.
Yep.
What about that child that you said going off, this September, August, October, whenever? What about the child who's probably going to go off January?
Come see me.
Come as well.
Or that child
Anytime you going, even if you're going next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Once you plan to go off island to school anywhere.
You have questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guarantee you somebody on this panel will be able to
All right.
answer them.
No, it is best that you be exposed and have it that you've had somebody talk to you about this rather than you go away in experience and say, nobody didn't tell me this.
If it's okay, Mr. Lee, if I may ask you, and again, I'll ask the question if it's not phrased properly or I shouldn't, please,
No problem.
if there were things that you could have asked, if there were answers you could have been provided prior to going or while you're there you wish someone had told you, any of them sort of you remember you want to share with us?
I think one of the main things is to look into the university that you've chosen, but also look at the surrounding area, things to do, and also try to get perspectives from past students about that university and the surrounding area.
Okay.
Because I was originally at the University of Derby, which is about 2 hours north of London.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more secluded. It feels very small town, very it feels a lot like home actually. And because I wasn't entirely sure how to get around and how to use the bus system, I ended up transferring to the University of West London, which is much more central. It's in West London, as the name suggests. But I think doing that due diligence is really important. And if there was one question that I could have asked at that time, off the top of my head, it would probably just be, how do I connect with other people while I'm at school? Because once I'm comfortable with people, I tend to open up very easily, but it takes a minute to get there.
Yeah.
So I didn't really join any clubs or activities necessarily. I was in a few, but for the most part, I spent a lot of time in my dorm. And I think figuring out how to get to a point of comfort and meeting new people is going to be really, really crucial for how your experience goes.
Okay. I'll give you a minute to think, only if you wish to respond. Like, what are some of the things that you did that you wish you hadn't, whether you spent time on and you wish you had? When I asked that first question, for me, I thought I was being analytical, logical. I did all the stuff. Which school, how far away, course, what's the program?
Right.
And I thought I went through everything, and my father said, yep, you got this, no problem. He was all great. And when I got there, the one thing I wish I had beforehand, where can I get the food that I like, the ingredients, right?
Yep.
Comfortable in the kitchen and everywhere else, and whichever. One of our brothers, he said, okay, you're going to have a car. This is how you service the car. He did the first service for me. He showed me, gave me all the tools, and, how often you need to do it. They can check on you, make sure you did it. Everything was perfect, except I couldn't find the ingredients to put in my food when I cook. Javi, he said it publicly more than once, and he was in the UK, and Javi said, boy, everything he ate was seasoned with salt and disappointment.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Right? And so now, when I think back to that, I was happy for many things, especially when family and friends would come and, they could bring a little seasoning from home, right? Then you learn, if you drive a couple of hours away, you might find something that resembles a plantain.
Yeah.
That has changed in 50 years.
I remember the first time I was in a grocery store and I found a tin of Milo. Oh my goodness. I was over the moon. I was so happy.
But this is what I think sometimes we, especially as parents who have never been to university, we did a night correspondence school or we did other stuff, but we weren't physically away. We don't have that perspective. But even when we were, Jamo, when you went to Washington to do your course, that was what almost 40 years ago?
About that.
Yeah. Things have changed then.
Yeah, I just couldn't take cold, man.
Yeah.
Anything cold in my fridge.
All right.
Yo.
Let me interrupt you. Miss Susan, we'll take that break when our race come on, right? She's watching it.
Yeah.
And I say this, I take full responsibility if anyone gets in trouble. We normally have a break at 1:30. As soon as Jordan starts to swim, we go into a quick break and we go watch the race, right? So that...
and it depends on if you win, how soon do we return. Because we can celebrate.
Yeah, listen. And this is about honoring the individual effort of each athlete.
Mhm.
But for me, this is about respecting the value and
Absolutely.
that parental commitment.
Mhm.
And hopefully as a country that we find ways to build bridges and to unify. And I can see this tying into our discussion that come the 10th, Saturday following. These students, age 16 to 24, who are going away, who may think and have demonstrated a sense of maturity, who have the aptitude, who have that sense of, exploration and want to. There's a lot that you wish you only knew.
Yep.
And you only found out that you didn't. So again, you don't have to, but I asked earlier, what are some of those things that you... So for me, let me hear from you first, unless you want me to go first.
No, that's okay. I'm okay going.
You go
ahead.
first?
Yeah,
I think
sure.
a lot of them struggle with managing their money.
That is one of the big things.
See, that was easy for me. I didn't have any. Just kidding.
That happens with a little bit that you have. You need to be really good with it.
Let me. My parents, my sisters in particular. I don't think I've ever known want. I mean, like that was... I'll tell you what mine was in a second. But, Miss General, you tell us.
I think... Do you mind repeating the question?
Yeah. We asked initially, things that... let me just ask. You were there and you did some stuff. Perhaps you wish you hadn't done, or hadn't spent much time, or wish you had done more of whichever. What were those sort of things? I don't want to talk about regrets, but we learn after the fact, I wish I had done that different. I wish I hadn't done that or done as much, or I wish I had done more of that. Whatever it is, I think you wish that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a regret, but you kind of reflect on and go,
No, of course. I mean, life is growth and reflection. So I think Jamo touched on it as well.
Yeah.
I was not very good with managing my money, and it put me in tight spots a few times. And I think part of that is because I've always been very anxious when it comes to dealing with money and math and those kinds of things. And I think if I had tried sooner rather than later to become comfortable with that kind of responsibility, it would have been a lot easier for me. I still struggle with it now, but it's definitely a work in progress. I think if I had handled that better, I would have had a better experience, and it would have enabled me to try more social activities, because that was also a source of stress. Because I didn't feel like I had the funds to go out and meet new people, so I didn't. And it kind of just snowballed, and I ended up isolated.
Okay. Hey, thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that. And again, this speaks to maybe us as parents in the household, but to wider community. Money management, economics, and finance. Some of us think, and this is a joke, when they used to have checkbooks, another thing that people used to write. Somebody don't know what it's actually. All right. They thought if you had, the joke is, you got money in the account because you got check leaves, right? Yeah. And it's not a fault to the child if the child doesn't understand that, right? But we don't teach that. We probably in the household don't allow the child to understand their bills and to be paid. Not asking the child to pay, just to be conscious of it, right?
Yeah, expose your kids to when you go out to eat, show them the bill, show them what gratuity means, things like how do I budget for the month, and what does that look like for the rest of the family, a family of 3 or 4 or 5, because those are key life skills that regardless of what you want to do, you're going to need it. And I think it's really important for parents to work around that discomfort that you might feel with talking about money and imparting that knowledge anyway.
Because I think
another thing that young Caymanians grapple with is being aware. Like, you've been in Cayman, it's such a peaceful place and safe, right? That when you go away, you kind of want to live that same kind of relaxed life, and you get burned sometimes. You get robbed and this kind of stuff, and because of that, there's no off switch after you get that shock, and there's no parent to give you a break. When you get home, you can at least turn it off, because parents that are preparing their young Caymanian for overseas, they tell them, yeah, you can go out, to try to get them used to being on their own local lanes in it, or you can have a trip to Cayman Brack, but you're still within a safe environment where, you're not gonna be harassed. You don't know about like vagrants coming up to you and assaulting you and all that kind of stuff. We really don't get a lot of that in Cayman.
But you also don't get an appreciation that here's this person, same sex, different sex, younger, older, this one comes up to you and they seem to present themselves in a pleasant, professional, non-threatening way. And they're the biggest crook and criminal that there is, right? But you're used to, the friendliness, right? And that, I think, is where we, again, maybe do this because it's happening increasingly here. We hear about the scam and the scammers and all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Especially as young women, I think I've been taught from a very young age to be careful and be aware of my surroundings as a woman. And I think that I do that while I'm here, but it's to another extent when I'm at school. Because I'm naturally a very trusting person. I don't like to assume the worst of people. And that has put me in a tight spot once or twice. So I think just having that reality check is also a little difficult at times, but it's necessary.
Should I say this publicly? My daughter said a joke that she would have used had she found herself in that position. So if she was to find herself getting into a cab to go somewhere, she'll make sure I get it right. She'll say, well, I'm a psychopath or whatever. So
you make yourself look crazy.
The chances are, two women can't be in the same space. I know, but you're doing these things, right? And you talk about the young woman, but we also need to tell our young men the same thing. To my father's credit, what he's always shared, your drink in your hand, water, soda, it doesn't matter. You put it down, you're done with it. And as the seafarers of his era, they traveled the world. They were not only aware of their situations and environment, they were sensible. They made sure that where you went and what you did and who you were with, that there was an element of safety. And maybe, Jumbo, to your point, our young children, and even us as parents, when we go, we accuse visitors who probably leave their brains at home. But are we also doing the same thing when we go overseas? Big bright lights and shiny cities, and we're all excited.
This is why I like to vacation in Cayman Brack.
He's there, man.
I can unwind, do as much of nothing as possible.
All right. Miss Susan, is that race up yet? Nope. Yeah, she said, okay. Well, what are we doing, Miss Susan? We at 137? Okay, Jumbo, wish you could hear that, boy. She said, I got great guests, just pay attention to them.
Oh,
she got this. All right. So
it must be my blue folder.
Talking to James Miles from the Youth Services Unit, and one of the interns, Mr. Leah General, joins us on the 10th, Saturday, from 3 till 5 at we call it the Multi-Generational Hub.
Intergenerational Hub.
It's called the Intergenerational Hub.
Yeah, where we encourage young, old, and in between to come together and learn from each other.
And even Susan, whatever's coming. She's like, and
Susan, you hear that? He don't want how you was the young category. You hear?
No,
what's going on?
You said young, old,
and in between.
I
said Susan first, young.
But this is where I think having that level of discussion would allow more of us to appreciate the importance. It's not just about getting the academic qualification. I think it's the experience as well.
And actually, while you're at the hub for this event, you can find out a little bit about the self-defense classes that another intern is doing.
Okay.
For just those who might be concerned about that, especially petite people going into a society where they're normally bigger people. You gotta be able to defend yourself if people step to you the wrong way.
But the defense isn't, from what I gather, right? Not that I'm an expert, isn't just your physical defense, it's your presence, the way you carry yourself.
And if you can run fast.
You see, you offer me hope until you said that. What's wrong with you?
That's the best
defense. No, but
might be able to run as fast as they want to hold, but as long as you can get away.
What I'm saying is you don't need to run faster, you just need to run faster than the guy next to you.
As fast as the guy that chasing you.
But with that, in general, as we look at encouraging our young people, for me, we want them to do that.
Yeah.
Even as parents, where we're going to miss you every second. We're going to be praying, we're going to be worrying, we're going to be excited. And what can you say to us now as the parent who is here? The child is in Hong Kong. The child, maybe at the KFL campus or St. Augustine, right? But they're still not, not on a sofa right there where we can see them.
Yeah. I think the main thing is, am I close enough?
Yeah, I think so.
I think the main thing I would say to parents is try to maintain that you care without being suffocating, if that makes sense.
Okay. Makes sense.
Because like I said, when I went away, obviously it was a sense of like, oh, I just want to be away from home.
Okay.
But
the race is coming on?
Oh,
okay, we're going to pause watching Jordan swim. You do the same. Catch us when we come back. Stay tuned.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, CNB customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
On behalf of the Port Authority of the Cayman Islands, the Ministry of Ports is hosting 2 public consultations to examine the options for the future expansion of the cargo port. This is your chance to share your views and shape our island's future. Join them on Wednesday, July 31st at the Vault, that's at the Compass Center, and Thursday, August 1st at the Church of God Chapel in Boddentown. Both meetings begin at 6:30 p.m. Can't make it? No worries. Participate through the online survey, which you can access on the Ministry's government page, or tune in live on Facebook. Your voice matters. Be part of the conversation and help build a better future for our Cayman Islands. For more details, visit gov.ky/tourism-transport or follow the Ministry of Tourism and Ports on Facebook and Instagram.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Parents, do you worry that Caymanian culture is getting lost in our youth with so many distractions? Well, the Cayman Islands National Museum has the perfect solution. Join the weekly Immerse Summer Camp until August 16th at the Intergenerational Hub behind Airport Fosters. Open to children ages 7 to 14. The camp runs from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. and costs $175 per week, including meals, admissions, transportation, and 2 t-shirts. Immerse your child in Caymanian history and culture with trips to historic sites and workshops by traditional artisans. Register now at museum.ky/immerse. Proudly sponsored by the Credit Union. The Immerse Summer Camp, weekly until August 16th.
I'm a Caymanian born and bred. Come on down and stay a while instead.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with the creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
Beacon Furniture is celebrating 20 years of providing gorgeous and affordable furniture for your home. Now through August 5th, Beacon Furniture is offering 20% off all in-stock furniture and home accessories. We offer free delivery and setup. Visit us at our location, 386 Shamrock Road Prospect, opposite the Seafarers Hall. Call 943-2500 or check out our website at www.beaconfurniture.ky. Beacon Furniture. Buy it today and have it in your home tonight. Thank you for 20 years of support. Save 20% off this week at Beacon Furniture.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as we get into our discussion with Jamo Miles from the Services Unit, the Leader General, the Generational Hub, on the 10th of August, yes. 3 to 5 p.m. There's a fantastic, and I would almost say, if you miss it, you'll miss something that would not only be informative, instructive, but have been invaluable, and you need to attend. But as we get into that, thanks, Susan, for calling it in the breaks. Jordan? Did you watch Jordan? Hey, I thought he was like having a outboard motor behind him, man. He was trucking. Yeah. So proud of.
They say he finished 7th, but boy, I think they need a 4 to finish.
Yeah. But what's interesting though, from again, and we'll go back and hopefully my friends with a video they watch it. In that race, the separation between the last person and the 5 prior thereabouts.
A couple seconds.
Yeah.
Just
split seconds.
Fractions or whatever. Yep. I mean.
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And this is where, as a country, we support our young, we respect the elderly, and all in between.
Yeah.
And maybe Saturday we come in, maybe we drop our children if they're not able to drive. We let them drop us where we're going and they take the car. Give them a space and have a chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for facilitating this. I think it's crucial to hear directly from students like you who've gone there, who are going to probably return at some point again for continued studies. And this can prepare them.
I can't take credit for this. This is my coworker Jesse's brainchild, but I'm happy to be part of it. It's a wonderful initiative, and I think it's something really important. So thank you for having us.
Yeah. No, you're most welcome.
Yeah, each of our interns has a project this summer. Leah's is about third spaces, and the intergenerational hub is actually one of those third spaces. So we look forward to her findings. And Abraham, the other intern, is working on the self-defense stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can find out about that at this event as well on the 10th.
And thank you for clarifying, because when I tell people to use like those studies, it's the plural you, but thank you. And this is where that love and respect and camaraderie that is fostered within the youth services unit.
Yeah.
You come on and you support your colleague and help to promote, the initiative. And at the end of the day, we see our students collectively benefiting from it. But I believe by extension, as parents, we are a little bit more confident, comfortable, and perhaps a little bit more at ease. What do you think, Ms. General?
Oh, I agree, 100%. I think when you give young people the opportunity to effect change and to actually make their own projects and things of that nature, and they come out really well, I think it reaffirms just how lucky we are here and just how capable our young people are.
Yes.
Which I think is really necessary, because a lot of what I hear from people my age is that they don't feel supported. They don't feel like they can do what they need to improve their country because the older generations may not express that to them. And I think it's really important for older people to see that that's necessary and to be vocal about their pride for the Cayman Islands and the young people.
I won't ask you now, certainly for many reasons, and you certainly are more than welcome, because not only your intellect, but your sense of independence, but also the person who you are, to share with us, maybe now and in the future. But to that point you just made, the older people that you reference, I want me and others listening to internalize that and not, that's the older Caymanians. That's all of us, whether we've been here so long that we don't even remember, or whether we've only been here that, we're off the plane good. We are not, and if I say this wrong, Mr. let me know. We as those adults, we're not loving, supporting, nurturing. We're not extending the accommodation. We're not hearing, listening, appreciating, valuing, including our young people. And when we see things, we are dismissive. And I think that's an indictment on this society, because Jordan's swim wasn't Jordan alone. It wasn't his parents and coaches and whichever. Your attendance at that very tender age, before you're the age of majority, in a far off land, or the trip to Cameron is because, like our forefathers who left in their teens to go to the Miskatonic Key or sail on National Bug, they demonstrated a resilience of resolve and independence. That's in us, and we're letting people disrespect us.
Yep.
No, man, that gotta stop. But so you are, encouraging, and through you and your team and all your students, know that at least in me, thankfully I know others, you have not just support, but you have somebody who will not just stand behind you, but will stand in front if you wish.
Thank
That you
you.
can't, what you say, you can't butter your own bread, but you know what? I can help you bake the loaf.
Of course. We appreciate it. We really do. I think it goes a long way.
Yeah. But this is what the future is. I mean, you think, as an individual, that you would do the things you do had you not had, in this instance, as a child, a parent who is there, who's saying, hey, you know what? Think about when you learn to cook. It may be something as simple as putting an egg into some water and boil it. Do you wait it? Do you turn it on, let the water get hot first, and then put it in, or do you put it in and turn the water on and let it boil together? Unless you know, you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the simplest thing, how to boil an egg. But then, how long do you boil to get a hard-boiled egg? We don't do that.
Yeah.
And now here we are at this very, very instrumental and important part of our lives. So as we wind the discussion up, first, Jambo, to you. You and I are no longer, even though we're no longer in our teens.
All right. I don't know about you, but I fought 17.
No, I still 28, Bobo. That's my age. Sticking to it.
You went down? Okay, then.
No, because that's the perfect age. Old enough to know better, still young enough to be forgiving.
Yep.
And you don't have to pay overage fees for renting a car or underage fees. But to us, when we're in this and we're seeing all the things that we talk about unfolding geopolitical landscape, Mr. General talked about, not knowing, not through no fault of our own sometimes. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance a checkbook? How do you go to the ATM? How do you open an account? How do you navigate the public transport? How do you
how you get documents apostilled?
Hang on, how do you even upload documents? Well, young people know that, right? But
But sometimes some documents need to be signed by apostille, and people don't know.
Yeah, well,
I had to figure that out for my son. Me and him had to figure it out together.
Well, there's so much that you just say that I'll be careful of, but again, it's not, and yet there are people who don't know, but whatever reason, knowledge is power, but for them it's controlling. So you don't need to know. What do you say to us, John? I mean, your programming at the Youth Services Unit, from the summer camps to all that activities, it's about engaging and empowering our young people.
Yeah, for present and future roles.
Yeah.
And that's why they need to come to this thing on Saturday the 10th. Because it prepares you for present and future situations that you can be your best self.
With refreshments.
Whoa, hear that? I don't get free food though.
Wait, hold on. I mean, when you say refreshment, cassava cake thing?
I don't know about that.
We'll see what we can hook up.
Hey, I know.
I can bake a cassava cake, but
Miss Renda, are you there?
yeah, there's plenty that got more talented than me.
Yeah. No,
I can make the sign cake. I'll do.
Put it this way, I don't need fork. I can use my fingers and I can eat it. So
yeah, we make cassava cupcakes.
Just get a big pan and we can cut it. I want a cast iron.
No, then people could be fighting for corners and edges.
Make it round.
That was a cupcake.
No, but a big. Anyway,
a big old round cake.
Here is what I'm thinking. That intergenerational hub is the opportunity for our young who are going off to university or doing the UWC scholarship or maybe finishing, those 2 years at boarding school somewhere. To those who, and then the grandparents and the parents, being part of the supporting cast, and it may be a little rice and beans, it might be a little piece of, breadfruit.
Just to let everybody know, it is open to any and all students who are looking to go across the school. So you don't have to be a government scholar. You don't have to be going to any particular school. If you are going, we want you there.
Yes. Okay. Between 3 and 5 on Saturday, the 10th of August.
And as you shared, I think because of the spaces, whether you're in a stadium and there's only 100,000 people capacity, it's only 100,000. In this case,
it's only 40.
It's only 40. So the first 40.
Yes.
And you want them to go online to sign up?
Yes.
They can go through our Instagram page, which is Cayman Youth. The link in our bio will take you to the YSU website. And when you go to events, it'll be the first event there. And you click more information, and the RSVP button will be plain as day in red.
Okay. And then
you
will
click
hear
that and sign up.
Yep.
From your panel, but there'll also be an opportunity to ask questions one-on-one.
Yes.
Yeah. There may be things that, you know what?
Yeah.
You don't want to ask publicly. You don't want to ask sibling or parent. And they don't have to be that personal thing. You might just feel uncomfortable asking anybody else.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
We usually have meetings after the meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Let us know how we can not only help to publicize it closer to date and or your other activities, but whatever, we can do to help to facilitate our young people continue their studies into the workplace, just navigating life, and it's important. We need to be there for them.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks again to both of you, and looking forward. Jamo, I'm glad that you reached out to us because we're gonna have you and your team on a number of times throughout the coming weeks.
Yeah, because Proud of Them is coming up as well. We can talk a little bit about that.
All right. Well, we're here to
I'll
help.
change my color shirt.
Hey. I was going to wear my black long shirt, but I don't have a black long shirt. This
is how it tends to bring the rain, so you see it working. It's
working. All right. Well, Mr. General, thank you very much for being an independent leader, but also that one who inspires. And then through you, we're reminded of the importance of us as parents being present,
Yep.
but not so foreboding that we don't, give you space, but not so far away that you don't feel supported.
Yeah.
So thanks for reminding us of that.
Thank you. No problem.
All right. Well, Susie, what are we doing? She says, and I don't know about you, but we're going to the news. When we come back, there'll be some open line. We invite you to call and share. And let me know, did you watch Jordan swim? Not just then, but earlier. And what do you think? And where are we going? And what do we do? Well, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
On behalf of the Port Authority of the Cayman Islands, the Ministry of Ports will be hosting 2 public consultations to examine the options for the future expansion of the cargo port. This is your chance to share your views and shape our island's future. Join them Wednesday, that's tomorrow, July 31st, at the Vault, that's at the Compass Center, and also on Thursday, August 1st, at Church of God Chapel in Bodden Town. Both meetings begin at 6:30 p.m. Can't make it? No worries. Participate through the online survey, which you can access on the ministry's government page, or tune in live on Facebook. Your voice matters. Be part of the conversation and help build a better future for our Cayman Islands. If you need additional information, you can visit gov.ky/tourism transport or follow the Ministry of Tourism and Ports on Facebook and Instagram.
Police say 2 more firearms were handed in this past weekend, part of the 2024 RCIPS gun amnesty campaign. The pistol, rifle, and ammunition were handed into police through a trusted third party. The RCIPS announced last week that due to disruption caused by Hurricane Beryl, the gun amnesty has been extended to Sunday, the 11th of August. In international headlines, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration has released the results of its 2023 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, which shows how people living in the U.S. report their experience with mental health conditions, substance abuse, and pursuit of treatment. The 2023 report released today shows that 4.5 million young people between the ages of 12 and 17 had a major depressive episode in the past year, and nearly 1 in 5 of them also had a substance use disorder. Tech giant Microsoft has apologized after thousands of people across the world reported issues with its products, ranging from email service Outlook to the hit game Minecraft. According to the BBC, Down Detector, which tracks website outages, showed thousands of people had reported problems this afternoon. This incident comes less than 2 weeks after a major global IT outage left more than 8 million computers using Microsoft systems inaccessible, impacting healthcare and travel after a flawed software update by the cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Cayman Islands, your opportunity to shape our future continues. All district public consultation meetings for the draft of the planning statement may be completed, yet we are still asking for your ideas. Go online, www.plancayman.ky. Complete the survey. Share your valuable thoughts before August 6th. Let's all continue to work together to move our country forward. We cannot do this without you. Join us in building a sustainable future. Let's get it right. Share your comments, thoughts, questions on the draft planning statement. This is our mission statement. First step towards Cayman's newest development plan. Visit www.plancayman.ky. Be part of the change.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
If you're a parent, you know that providing your child with a quality early childhood education can be expensive. However, the Ministry of Education offers financial assistance through its Early Childhood Assistance Program to help qualifying Caymanian families cover the costs at registered early childhood settings. Visit our online application portal at moeapplications.gov.ky to learn more and get started. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
This is Sherry Ebanks, and I work in the financial services sector. I am concerned about how climate change is affecting our beautiful beaches. Sea level rise and changing wind patterns are worsening the erosion of our beaches, and warmer temperatures are causing more sargassum to reach our shores. When our beaches are degraded, our tourism sector and the livelihoods of Caymanians are put in jeopardy. To learn more about the climate risks to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you for joining us. It's just a few minutes past the 2 p.m. hour, and open line for the remainder of this program. We're going to take some calls, but before we do, a special thanks to Mr. Mario Rankin. He has offered and give me permission to publicly thank him, somewhat, I think, reluctantly. But I think it's important to recognize when people step up immediately. We were joking and jesting about the youth services unit having at the intergenerational hub on the 10th, next Saturday, the event for our students who are going off, 16 to 24 years old. And we say, hey, little cassava cake. And Mario say, you know what, I can make some. And this is where that partnership helps. Not that they were asking for it, but it just shows a community that supports, loves, encourages, and assists. Hey, thank you, Mr. Mario Rankin. Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty good. Thankful.
All right, that's good.
Darling, I don't know how to come across to you, but I'm going to try to come across.
Okay, well, please do.
And I'm quite sure if you would see where am I trying to go with what I'm trying to ask.
Well, let's see what we can do. I think together we might get lost or we might find a way.
True. Sterling, the government, not just this government, all governments for the Cayman Islands, past, present, and the future coming. Sterling, what, I don't know if you can answer, what is the government duty to the people on this island?
A government's, in my view, you're asking, duty to its people just generally is to provide as best as possible, a society through not just laws, legislation, enforcement, a safe place, not by over-policing, but by ensuring that the rule of law is enforced irrespective of color, creed, economics, education, ethnicity, and the like. But also, again, if it's going to be somewhat of a capitalist-based society, and I say that word carefully and loosely, where you as an entrepreneur or an existing business or an employee know that playing field that we talk about is as level as possible, so that your application to a government agency, for example, for some sort of permit, some sort of license, will be met with the same, level of, how do we put it, import as anybody else is, irrespective again of who you are. But also then when it comes to education and healthcare, the notion of infrastructure, I can probably continue, but you may have something else you want to ask, and then I'll add to it.
No, I know I get on here and I beat the government up, all past, present, and future. The future hasn't got here yet, but if they got to get beat up and if I'm alive, I will do it. And I give them kudos when they do good and when they do bad. And nobody's perfect, and we can't get all the T's dot the way we like to get them dotted when we're ready to a degree. Because why I ask that question, Phil, is because I want to say we come out here and we say, oh, the government don't do this, the government don't do that. So if I'm asking you, like, I use this term now, what is the government responsibility to the island and the people of the island? Sterling, we say we got senior citizens here. Some is being taken care of by the government, and some is probably not taken care of by the government. It could be for a lot of reasons. It could be pride, or their children can take good care of them and get them someone to help take care of them while they're at work or living with them and all that kind of good stuff. You understand? Because Cayman still have a lot of pride in it. If you were raised up the right way in Cayman, when me and Menamore came up, I'm not going to even put you in that category because you're a little young chicken. You
can tell by my usefulness. I'm glad that you said that.
You got a long way to go. You still got a long way to go. But seriously, we say, oh, the government don't do this and the government don't do that. Now that's what I'm going to use this thing. When we gave up those, I'm going to say we, because we all is in it. When we gave out that 3,000 status to the status holders when they wasn't even living here, people saying we brought the family here and got status for them. And that made the population grew. That made NAU grew. The lights, the water, and the medical pharmacies and everything. And then other people just keep coming, okay? But to say that the government is taking care of its people, especially some of the seniors, is hurting. Some of the seniors are hurting, and government ain't doing nothing for them. We don't know how many people, especially seniors, we don't have to have the name of the individual. We could have a head come say, well, we got 100 seniors that government taking care of financially, housing-wise, and so forth, okay? And that is all good to know, but we don't have to know who they are. We don't have to know who they are and where they live and all that kind of stuff. Because every time you keep hearing, government ain't doing nothing to the seniors. Government ain't doing nothing to the homeless people. And government ain't doing this. And government ain't doing that. So, Sterling, when I look at the rest of the world on the TV to see how many homeless people, even to the U.S. now, want to try to clean up the homeless people for their streets, right? When they say we got a few here homeless, Sterling, I'm quite sure the majority of them, when they come, they got some shelter to go into to sleep, to come back out next morning and tell us that they're homeless. They don't have a job. They need something to eat. They need something to drink, and so forth and so forth. But I feel like we want more than we are putting out ourselves to say the government is not helping us. We have to help ourselves as well too. And if I need help and I go to need assessment and say I need help, and they give me a form to fill out, and I got 25 questions on it, and I'm going to answer what I want to answer and leave the rest blank. That form is not going to get looked at. It will get looked at, but say the person need to come in and finish fill out the form before they can give an assistance.
But I mean,
that individual.
As I hear, whatever that form is, whether it's for some sort of government assistance, scholarship, or otherwise, or whether it's an application for approval, whatever it is, it has to be a form that isn't so cumbersome, isn't so daunting that the person can't fill it out, but it needs to be eliciting sufficient information.
Exactly, because anywhere in the world, you go to fill out a form, you have to answer every question on the phone to get where you want to get. And then we got this thing that I'm a Caymanian. I shouldn't have to answer that question. And I ain't going nowhere. The population has changed things for us here that nobody knows now who's a Caymanian. And some of us don't even have no IDs. And if you go to a place to apply for a driver's license, you have to fill out a form. I'm quite sure.
I know we have another caller trying to get through, right? But what I wanted to ask is, from that perspective, right? Maybe the mindset or the cultural ethos, and I'm thinking of this in relation to how we have allegedly been reluctant to respond to questions relating to our income when the Economics and Statistics Office, for instance, seeking information. Maybe we feel that that's a bit intrusive. So you could be right. We're not answering certain questions without understanding the importance of why that question is being asked. But is it that we are on the side of the question or failing to communicate? Hey, we need this information from you, not to get up in your business, but we need to know, this in order to do that. So could it be a bit of both, maybe?
Have a little bit of both, but still we need to avoid by something that we got to go and apply for a job. You go to apply for a job, you got to fill out the form to the best of your ability. You're not going to tell the person, hey, I'm a Caymanian, I shouldn't have to answer all these questions. That is not right. And going back to the 3,000 people that who got status and beyond, because I understand that every new premier that gets in can give out X amounts of status to people who's living here on the island. I didn't even know that, and I witnessed partial of it at the Glass House some time ago. But anyhow, Sterling, I still say that if you get your status through that 3,000 and many more other ways, and you didn't have a wife or you didn't have a girlfriend, and you got one after you got that, right? And the first place you or she walk, is to need assessment to get some help for me to live, food to eat, gas, propane gas, rent paid, lights and water paid, whatever the case may be. So what I'm trying to say is, Sterling, how can we say that the government is not helping? They may be helping the wrong people. We may feel they're helping the wrong people. Why is it the wrong people? Because every time you give a status, 95% of these people are going to need assessment, looking help. And then the people here are stating that they don't get no help from the government. And then again, the few Caymanians say it's only the foreigners getting help from need assessment and any other department that they can get help from to survive on this island.
Yeah. If I can ask you though, what is your view if someone, I want to make sure I didn't misunderstand your comment. If a person now gets status and now marches first step for government assistance, do you think that person then should be eligible to get status?
No.
So how are we given status if, and the reason why I asked that, I guess it's obvious, but let me leave that to you.
Sterling,
yes, ma'am?
Sterling, my friend,
3,000
status was given away, right, many years ago. And how many more has given away since then through marriage or through they was qualified through the system, or they got it through a premier? Because I understand a premier is allowed to give, I think is 6 or 7 status when a premier, if a mayor become a premier. You understand?
Yeah.
And if I even say that right. But what I'm saying is, we are making everything so easy here for people, and then the few Caymanians are saying that the government ain't doing nothing for the seniors, which I really don't think that is 100% true. I will not believe that to that extent. And like this is a ticklish situation. You know something? I'm not finished what I want to say, and you still got another call coming. I think I need to call you another time.
Yes,
when you got more time to talk to
yes.
I need more time to discuss this.
Okay.
But anyhow, thanks for listening.
Thank you for at least taking some time to share with us. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye.
All right, have a good afternoon. We're going to pause, take a break, take some more calls. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. And in our open line segment, as we draw to the end of the program, let's take this next call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, my friend. How are you today?
Not doing too bad, man. I was just listening to Miss Jan, and obviously, there's a lot of issues that we're facing in Cayman, and I think that one of our biggest challenges is that we're not able to allocate the necessary resources or even prioritize any one thing, because they're all pretty big issues. I mean, when we're talking about having to prove you're Caymanian to get a job in Cayman, when you're talking about having to compete in an environment where there are so many people who have become Caymanians based on I call it the red carpet service, but based on the institutions that regulate that, such as permanent residences and status grants and the processes that is behind that, we have a lot of challenges. We didn't really forecast this level of differences that we have with the different environments that we have to deal with in order to at least earn a living to live in Cayman. I mean, you got the workforce, you got all of these different categories of things that we have somehow didn't put proper structure in place in order to mandate it or manage it in a proper way, because the minute we talk about, because right now we look at the government, some of the motions that were brought to the House in regards to status grants, trying to extend the period of the time that a person is married to a Caymanian before they become eligible for status. We're talking about, a myriad of different things in which to try to, reduce Caymanians from being marginalized in these industries. But the fact of the matter is that what needs to be done, we need to be unapologetic about it, and we need to be very focused in order to prioritize the well-being and the continuity and sustainability of the Caymanian people, because we have to make it a sustainable environment for our people first before we can focus on it being a sustainable environment for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, I struggle with the fact that we have done absolutely nothing but talk about the issues in the House of Parliament. Not just on the outside. There's a lot of talk on the outside too, but where it matters and where people have the ability to make the necessary change, there's a lot of talk going on in that arena too, and nothing really happening. They think that doing these little band-aid effect things on the last leg of an election will suffice and be withstanding for long term. No, it won't. These are tangible things they're looking to do short term in order to win over the confidence in your vote. And it's very sad that we're still playing this political game that we've always been playing. Let's pave some roads, paint some buildings, plant some trees, and everybody will get us elected. You know what I mean? I'm tired, because here what need to happen. We don't need to extend how long a person been married to a Caymanian before they get status. We need to put a moratorium on it now and shut it down for 50 years. And the reason for that is because, yes, we had that major status grant. That's the biggest thorn in our side, because every single politician that was duly elected during the time of that grant all had a list of people who got statuses. Those are the facts of life, right? It wasn't just Makiwa. It was everybody.
What is your view?
Right.
And I don't want to put you on the spot. So when I say, I wonder what is the public's view then? Could we review it and rescind, take it away, something that have been granted? Status, PR?
Well, I can tell you, I know one person that was in prison and got status and when it was about to be deported, but got status while he was in prison before his sentence was up, and you can't deport a person who got status.
Yeah, and I've heard of similar instances. We've also heard of a case where allegedly the person is before the court. The court is about to issue a deportation order, and the person said, "Well, your Honor has been granted status." Now, if that's the case, or a person who was already off island and had been deported, again, whether this is true or not, these are things that have been said sufficiently by people who, would know differently, and they say, no, that's the case. The person is deported, gets status, and now can come back. Allegedly, if these things have happened, would a review of this system, even 20 years later, be warranted?
Clearly, there should be no statute of limitation in regards to revoking a status from anyone who was granted through cabinet, right?
Yeah.
Because you got status on day one don't mean that you're going to maintain being a good character person throughout. I think it should all be subjected to your behavior moving forward. So your status is limited too.
Right. And the thing is, and I appreciate you sharing that. Many of us are listening going to castigate you and me for even uttering it, much as thinking it, right? But I say that, one, in deference to what a number of others have shared, people that I hold in high esteem, and they've said it, if you look at two things and two things only, awards that have been granted to people here and other places have been taken away because of acts in their subsequent, lives, right? Not just the Queen's Awards and the like, but other awards from universities, other awards where the people now have acted in a way and people say, I don't know. But also, presumably, the UK has done likewise with their citizenship. They've taken it back from people who have done things after getting citizenship, all right, as has other countries. So if that can happen in the UK, could it not happen here? And of course, the people that shared this with me did it much more, eloquently and perhaps informatively. But could it happen here? Should it happen here? A review.
I take your point, but I don't want to get too far off the beaten path.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not trying to water down what needs to happen in Cayman.
Okay.
With this hypocrisy about UK and what they've done and all. Listen, we have executive level people in our island that have gotten status through favoritism of cabinet, right? That deserve to be on a deserted island with just one coconut tree with no coconut. Okay.
And no
that's how I
limbs.
feel. And these are the realities of our existence. But nobody want to talk about it because these people may rub elbows with the charity foundations in which they donate money to, with the money earned on our shores, only because they're on our shores. We have to stop playing Mr. Nice Guy, that smiling and waving and, oh, come on in and take advantage of us and don't reciprocate any of the niceness that we have shown you to us, and we should be fine with it. We'll heal and we'll get better. Don't worry, we'll work it all out. Listen, the reality is it's not just those people that we refer to that might have been a possibility where they were in prison or in trouble. It's not only them that is deserving of their status being revoked. You know, you have a lot of the people that sit down and play possum that deserve for it to be revoked too. But we don't want to talk about it on a holistic level because some of those persons who are enjoying the status grant in the Cayman Island and its environment and all of its dreams that come with it are some of the people who have the financial capability and we are all to stay here. I get that. But that don't make them a good person. Money never made anybody good from what I can see.
Money can't buy class, they say.
But all I'm saying is, Sterling, is that I'm tired of the people who are in a position to make the fundamental changes that are necessary for the continuity of sustainability for Caymanians. Stop the lip service. Stop saying, oh, yeah, we're talking about that. I look at all these different motions that were brought in the last sitting of the House, talking about this extension of status, people married to Caymanians, and talking about waiving the duties on the fuel. Can you imagine the 75 cents that Roy McTaggart had suggested to waive is the only money that we get back out of all this importation of fuel? That is the only thing the people actually get back as a rebate, in my opinion, because it goes into central government's revenue and it helps all of the social programs in which we depend on, right? Even though some of it is being abused. But again, we are guaranteed that 75 cents per gallon. But we're not guaranteed that once we leave them with that money on the table, that they're going to give it back to us at the pump or at the utility company. Yeah. There's no law stipulating that. So why would we rob Peter to pay Paul when Peter is us and Paul is us? Come on. We got to be smarter than this.
Yeah. And you shared something at the outset in relation to, the Band-Aid. I wonder to what extent we as a populace now, especially the voters, will forget, the activities of, yesterday, last year, because we're now seeing something transpiring now, knowing probably that it's just a quick fix, a sham, however egregious and offensive a statement that might be. But we still be fooled by it? Or do you think now we are becoming a little bit more conscious of what's happening and a little bit more willing to do the right thing?
Well, I really hope that once we have identified the issues, we have located the solution, that we can at least prioritize implementing those solutions to the issues that we have identified. The problem is that how do you create a pecking order to prioritize what comes first? Now, one would believe or one would think that if a room of reasonable people equipped with the right information would make the proper decision. But we've seen for far too many times that is not the case because they are reliant on the dependence of the people of them. So therefore, the manipulation could be very subtle but real. And when someone is dependent on a system, they're not going to ever do anything to offend it, so that help don't go away. And I think that's what we've been in this systematic, perpetual state of being dependent on government to do certain things, and is too afraid to speak up because we don't want that help to go away. And that's a very sad state of mind and position for any country to be in. Not to mention, we are the minority in these islands. We are the minority. So therefore, if we are creating the majority of wealth for the majority of people who come here and work, how is it that we forgot and left out our own people in the midst of all of this grand design of the Dream Cayman situation? How have we left out our own people when it's our own people? So I'll leave you with this. Have you ever heard about a war waged against us, by us, for us? That's exactly what's happening here, because we create the legislation, we create the red carpet service, so every single social issue we have today is self-inflicted. People coming here and taking advantage of a weak system is not their fault. Have a good one.
Thank you always for sharing not only so succinctly, but in such a way that it should cause many of us to at least think and decide whether or not our views are worth holding. Hey, thank you for the courage of sharing publicly, man. Have a good afternoon, all right? Well, it's a Tuesday. That means tomorrow's Wednesday. God's willing, we'll be a part of it. Please join your day as you do Monday and Fridays. Do so on Wednesdays. Start it off right with Mr. Art and be a part of what he unfolds on For the Record. Come back for talk today right after the midday news. I invite you to be a part of it. If I might, to Jordan and Julian, to Jade and to Devontae, and not just the past Olympians and the future ones, but us as a community that we recognize the individual efforts of all. We invest in each other. We support our parents. Just prior, Mr. Leah General came on and said, hey, as a child, we want our parents to be involved. She said, don't smother us, give us our space, help us to find our independence, but let us feel nurtured and supported. And I don't think I was mistaken nor misunderstanding what she said. Doesn't matter if that child is 16 or 61. You're always a child from birth to death. And as a child, you want to know that your greatest champion and cheerleader is your parent. The greatest supporter and nurturer is your parent. We heard one of them people in one of those big jurisdictions talk about, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, people can say anything and it have little meaning. Let's show it through our actions that we bring together that love and that nurture. As the last caller shared, some of us may be taken aback by the comments, even my endorsement of what he said. But it's about looking at people and not just devaluing what we have because we have undeserving. You ever try to make a wonderful souffle? You got a souffle and you have a dozen eggs and you put that 13th one in and you know it's bad. It's just off a little bit. It's not fully gone. You think the other 12 are going to be okay with it? That thing now is discarded, not only because it's has an offensive odor, but it's going to probably make you sick. If you don't believe it, try it for yourself, but don't share it with nobody else. And then call me in the morning and tell me differently. And that is how it is, We don't need to continue to poison our society by the offensive, hurtful, malicious things we say and do, but also by some of the things that we are so coward that we are unwilling to say and to do. Where would we be today if our forefathers didn't have the resolve, the resilience to stand in the gap? And where would we be today if we were constantly degrading, disrespecting, and devaluing each other and to be consistently divided? It's time to step up. And some people, as I heard many pastors say, are so heavenly bound that they know earthly good. Well, maybe we're now so focused on ourselves that we forget the importance of helping each other. If whatever I say offends you, let me know. And if it's appropriate, as I determine, I'll apologize. But don't believe you shake a stick and say boo and you're going to frighten me. Those days are over, my friend. Time to stand together. And if you don't love where you are and who you're with, well, look in the mirror. And maybe it's a problem with what you see. And if you feel that you're alone, look around. There's somebody who has a similar view. If that view is positive, let's work together to make it better. The ignorance that we see on the road isn't because of the next guy. It's probably because of us not being sensible, not understanding that it's better to arrive safely, albeit a little bit late, than not at all. Now, you may think that it is bad that you got an accident and hurt yourself. I hope it never happens to anyone anymore. But I'm sure it will be worse if that injury or that accident resulted in the death of somebody else. You have to live with that. Ask someone who suffers that every day. Please, if I can ask of anything of any of us, let's be a little more sensible and considerate. Let's recognize that whatever it is, that thing that we're feeling that makes us feel a sense of angst, is it the coffee? Or is it a lack of exercise or sleep? You know what, I almost want to joke and say something else, but let's leave that for now. Let's be serious for a second. Let's think about what we're doing and not doing, what we're saying and not saying, and let's see if we can find that agape love. Hey, thank you all. God's willing, tomorrow we may be a part of it, but it's not promised to anyone. And if I am not here, I hope that this time that I have been, that has been positive and productive. But if, as my prayer, I'll be here until 120, healthy physically and otherwise, that I'll be still willing to contribute and have. And I ask you to do the same. We're living longer. Are we laughing more and loving? Or are we becoming despondent, depressed, and somehow, discarded? We shouldn't be. But it's probably because of those around us. Iron sharpens iron. So let's be the sharpest as we can. Hey, thank you all very much. And guide me. My request of you is, as you pray with and for me, we pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, for health, happiness, and prosperity. Hey, thank you all. God's willing, I'll see you tomorrow.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's read the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the